So, hello everyone. I'm Mark Lee of the Playdev. Uh, it's my second time to attend the GTR conference as a speaker. The last speech was 2018, so it's been almost 3 years. So time flies so fast. We've been working with the GTR for a couple of years now, with sharing the knowledge of the new technology and the network of the promising game developing companies. So we Playdev are the developing blockchain-based gaming service platform, marketplace Playdev. So our vision and mission is to create the world where the digital assets are more valuable and accessible to everybody. So to talk about it, the vision, so I would better introduce our team career very quickly first time for more understanding. So our core team, the member has two unique characteristic experience. Basically, all of us have working in the game industry over the 10 to 20 years, especially in terms of like the game operating. The interesting is that our CTO and the COO was one of the core team and the founding member of the largest digital asset marketplace in Korea. This is called Item Bay. So we had this very unique know-how and experience about the game and the item marketplace the operations. So those kind of the know-how and the knowledge and experience is like something we want to bring into this blockchain space. So let's talk about what is the big difference between the legacy game, traditional game, and the blockchain games. So I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the blockchain and blockchain games, but let me introduce the fundamental level. To be shortly is blockchain is kind of the public ledger, so which is everybody can access so easily and write down the database, but cannot delete it. So because of these kind of features, with the blockchain, so we will be able to transfer the item value without any third-party intermediary, middleman. So I'll better explain more in detail in the specifically. So for example, in traditional game industry, all the data and item is going to be stored by the game server of the company. So when they decide to terminate, the developer or the publisher decide to terminate their service, the whole the database and the item has gone. So it's going to be useless. It's going to piece up the data number or the character, the letter, because it's the platform has the ownership of the item. And secondly, if you want to buy the item, the game item, the only way we can buy is as the item is purchased. So it's kind of the one-way business model. There's the only way we can buy that item. But the whole the revenue or the profit is belong to the service provider. So the whole company should be competed each other, and also have the spending the mass of the marketing budget for the user acquisition to gain the new users. It's what happened for the traditional game market. But on the other hand, in the blockchain game industry, in the perspective of the blockchain game, the whole data is the item can be stored by the blockchain public DB. So that means is like the user have their true ownership of the item. So user can buy and sell the game item without any obstacle. So this means is like there is a possibility of the secondary markets, also other creative way of the earn the money, like a business model, because we can add some item like the value into the game item with the leveling up and the merging the item and the enchanted, etc., etc. So, lastly, there also is a possibility of the cooperations. So we don't need to to fight each other and compete each other anymore. So instead, we can sharing the revenue and the information and traffic between the game to the game and the company to the company with these interoperable game items. So therefore, with our global C2C marketplace PlayDAP, which is we are operating right now, users are able to trade the blockchain item freely without any obstacle, the limitation, and regulations. So those items in the marketplace will not be limited by the region, but also is not limited to one game title. Those items can be used on another game as like the interoperable game items. Okay, but it was very early stage of the blockchain. So when we started this project the first time, so there was no use case and benchmarking case we can refer to at the time. So we need to prove, so we need to show in public, the other developers, how this interconnecting game playing feature is working. So that's why we decided to develop the app game, decentralized app games, the Crypto Dojo and Dojo Bird. So I do better show you the short script, short video script, which we have done. Is it too loud? Okay, this is our first game, the Crypto Dojo. It's a coin push game. So you can collect the dollar from here. So this dollar can be used to another game as a character. So our second game is a Dojo Bird. It's a kind of like a flipper bird, and you can fly to and gathering the piece of the key in here. And this character can be also to another game as well, like to get the loot box, and then all this kind of the NFT and the blockchain item can be tradable in our marketplace. Okay. So to be simple, like you can collect the dollar from our first game in the Crypto Dojo, and you can use it as a character to our second game in the Crypto Dojo Bird. And while you're playing the Dojo Bird, you can gain the piece of the key, which you can actually take back to our first game, Crypto Dojo, to unlock the further random boxes. It's a very simple mechanism, but I think that we could show the proof how to use this kind of interoperable items. And this kind of the interoperable experience was not able in the traditional marketplace before. Oh, yeah, I missed the explanation about the NFT. So NFT is a stand for the non-fungible token. So it has many different standards. There is kind of ERC 721, ERC 1155, but you don't need to think about it that much. So simply you can consider this NFT is kind of unique blockchain items. So, and then we also proved the cross-promotion effect with these interoperable items and the connected game playing environments. So we launched our first game, Crypto Dojo, in March 2019. And within the first month, we actually overtook the CryptoKitties and became the #1 in the Ethereum network. And then we launched the second game, Dojo Bird, about 5 months later, August 2019. At that time, we were able to achieve the top rank chart without any marketing actions. The reason why we didn't spend that much money was because we wanted to understand the people who played our first game, how many of them would be moved on to the second game and back and forth. And finally, we found a number there was around 80% of the first game users have moved on to our second game to play the second game, and they're staying and playing the both of game together. So some days, I don't remember exact dates, but it was around like the December 2019. So, but according to the dev leader and the state devs, which is the app ranking sites, our dev was ranked at number 1 and number 2 at the same day. So I took the picture and took the screenshot as a souvenir at the time. So this is show the list of the game, which is the specific the blockchain game item where the character can be used. Yeah, here is the demo script which showed how to register and trade the NFT as the user perspective, like a buy and sell the NFT. So let's take a look. Yeah, Playdev Marketplace is already released, so even though it's a beta version, and only the in-house game item is listed now, but other two app game items, Sandbox and League of Kingdom, will be listed in a couple of weeks later. So please visit the play.com websites and enjoy the item trade in our marketplace. But make sure that you have to play the Crypto Dojo and Dojo Bird first to get the NFT items. So as you can see, it's very simple to use. Okay. So now we are actually talking with a lot of the third-party traditional game developer who is operating their app in the App Store and the Google Play Store, and trying to invite them into our marketplace and the blockchain, the platform. So we are more focusing on nowadays at the RPG genre at this time, because RPG item is much more suitable for the adding the kind of value to the item with the leveling up, the merging, and the enchantments, something like that. So, and in case of Along with God, we brought the game code and image source from the developer and recycling. So it means like the game rebalancing and the promotion, to change the promotion image and the content updates, and also is integrate the blockchain, the features, NFT. So we have launched both of the RPG game title at the Samsung Galaxy Store and Google Play Store a couple of months ago. And we'll integrate the NFT and the blockchain features within the first quarter of the 2021, so this year. So we are also thinking about the MMORPGs, like Along with God I mentioned before. We will be able to get the whole IP authority for the Asta game, MMORPG game title as well. So I personally believe that the Asta RPG will be one of the sophisticated and blockbuster game in the blockchain marketplace. So let's see the promotion video regarding those two, the MMORPG game title. This game is Dragon War, an MMORPG with integrated battlefield systems, allow the massive warfare between the different server by using the Dragon. There is like the PvE and the massive PvP as well. And this one is Asta RPG. The Asta Fantasy MMORPG with a unique Asian style background motion art and characters. So it was released a couple of years ago and had a good reputation on the Steam and the other platforms. So it's pretty good. So this item will be transaction to the PlayDev marketplace as well. So in this chart, I'd better explain about how to convert the game item into the NFT blockchain items in perspective of the user flow. So user don't want to really understand what the blockchain is and what the crypto wallet is. The only thing they care about is that those items can be tradable or not, is through the marketplace. So we try to make the UX and UI as much as we can to simplify for version for the mass adoptions. So as you can see in here, the converting NFT process is quite simple. So just go to the in-game lobby. There is a button, and in the bottom, like a blockchain button UI, and so you can, if you click that button, as you can choose the item you want to convert to the NFT blockchain tokens. So just click the convert button and continue. That's it. So that's all you have to do. And then all the history and the uses and the holding breakdown, the information is also in the game banner as well. So lastly, I'd like to explain about the storefront page and the PlayDev SDK. So let's take a look at the short script as well. So so that you can understand it more easier. So we are providing the storefront page for the developer. So you can register the NFT items and the metadata in this here storefront page. So as you can see here, it's very similar with the other traditional platform, the marketplace. So you are already got used to it. So there's not much difficulty to register the item and information on it. Moreover, we don't charge any transaction fee for now. So all the transaction revenue will belong to the developer. So yeah, that is the payments out. So also we will be able to provide the PlayDev SDK very soon. So with this SDK, developer will be able to jump into the blockchain environment much more easier than before. So our tech team will take care of your technical issues one by one individually to integrate the SDK and NFT items. Yes, this is at the end of my presentation. So if you have a question and need to information in detail, please contact to the Mark at the play.io or the contact to the Telegram. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Actually, this raised a lot of questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember watching your talk at last year's GTR conference in 2019. And I immediately started playing CryptoDozer afterwards because I wanted to check this out, how everything works, because, gaming and blockchain, maybe that's the new innovative stuff that is pretty interesting. So I played a round or several rounds of CryptoDozer actually. And the problem I had was that I needed to exchange my Ethereum or send it over via a wallet into the PlayDev universe. And the gas fees, they were quite high.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and I mean, how is your take on that? Because at the moment, I guess it's super expensive for people to play that, because the gas fee. For those people who are not familiar with maybe we should explain that for people who are not familiar with cryptocurrency. Every time you do a transaction, it needs to be proven by some kind of miner. All those people that are mining the coins somehow. And the higher the prices and the more people are doing transactions at the same time on one of these different crypto blockchains, the higher the price is for doing a transaction. So for, I don't know, spending like €5 or $5, I needed to pay like the same amount of money to the mining people as a fee. What's your take on this? Do you have plans to adopt different blockchains where it could be cheaper? Like, I don't know, Bitcoin Cash or whatever is around where the fees are cheaper maybe?
Yeah, that's right. That's very challenging for us as well. Like for the capability issues, and because like the especially for the last year, there is a like kind of huge demand of like the DeFi, which is a decentralized financial. So that, as you said, like the gas fee was extremely increasing before. So it's almost like it's almost impossible to operate the game system at this time. So we are thinking about the two part. Is the other one is like we are using the another side of chains of like we are talking with several different like the mainnet, which is the Korean oriented one, or the other one is a global one, but I'm not sure that we can talk about it right now at this time, because it's a very early stage in here. We are talking about working on it, but we also are thinking about it to change the main network to operate these kind of situations.
Yeah, because I know that there is a cryptocurrency called Loom Network who has their own and I know that they have their own crypto zombies TCG. And I know that they have their own mainnet on the side, and then there's of course Icon in Korea, ICX. I know that they're doing like their own mainnet and side chains as well. But I guess again, you can't speak about that, of course, because it's not public yet. But
sorry that
no worries.
But we have that kind of information. That
we have a question from Titus, but before we ask that one, I just want you to kind of explain to the people here that don't really know what an NFT is. How would you compare that to a non-crypto thing? Like, what is an NFT in the real world, so to speak, outside blockchain? What's the closest thing to it?
So, as I mentioned before, like NFT is a blockchain-based item. So, which is stored by the public DB. So, not stored in the specific publisher's game DB or the game database or the developer database. So it's the ownership of the game item is belong to the people, not to the company. So that means it's like that we can trade the items freely without any obstacle, or that no one is strongly prohibit to transfer that item. Because for example, like if we are playing the FIFA 21, so if we gain the Messi card on the Ronaldo card and the Sonheung-min card, so we cannot trade it with the other people freely. Because it's strongly prohibited to that kind of thing. So, and then also another problem is like after 1 year, it's like after FIFA 22 is coming out, is FIFA 21 is like the character, the player card is kind of be like the useless, but because like everyone is playing the FIFA 22, and then the previous one is like not going to be like it. But with the NFT and the blockchain space, so we can use that as we can trade this one is freely. So there is a possibility of the secondary market. So you can sell and buy and to anybody you want with this either blockchain networking system.
Would you say it's kind of like so I'm going to try to use a real life example here. So it's like I basically have a paper here saying I own a bar of gold, but if I own a bar of gold, someone is holding it for me. But here in the blockchain world, no one's holding it for me. So I basically have this contract proving that it's mine, and I can just touch it and do whatever I want with it at any point in time. Is that a good comparison?
That's a good explanation. Thank you.
Take a look at what happened at Diablo or World of Warcraft, for example. Yeah, all the items within Diablo or World of Warcraft, they can be traded somehow. Yeah, you can trade the ownership of this thing and then pass it over within the game. But in the end, it still belongs to Blizzard. And here you buy this thing, and then it's really yours. And it's not like it doesn't matter what Blizzard does; it's anyway still yours. The question would be. I mean, in the end, those NFTs are only valuable between the ecosystem where they are minted or where they are giving out. I mean, for example, if we are talking about the NFTs that you produce with PlayDev that you can use in several of your games, they are only valuable in between the ecosystem of PlayDev, right? I mean, it's not really you. If I bought one of these NFTs and if I don't play any PlayDev games, I don't have any benefit except of the ownership, right?
Yes, but it depends because I think the value is like it depends on what we believe. So someone who because we believe that the gold is valuable, so that is deserve to pay. So it's not talking about the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency and how many money you can earn. It's because this is more about the ownership or someone who is not going to be taking over from our own property. So which means it's like if we are thinking it is valuable, it can be someone can buy the kind of the item with their money, and because they don't want to spend their time or instead of spending their time, they can pay for that. But for those kind of the transactions, they cannot be prohibited by anybody. So this is kind of points as the value itself can be a different story, I think.
So you can kind of compare it to the current Pokemon card craze, right? Because there is technically zero value for a Pokemon card, right? But the market sets the price. And nowadays, a really rare Charizard goes for like $50,000, right? So I guess it's kind of like collecting, different items, and the market sets the price. They decide what it's worth, the passion's in there. So yeah, it works like an online system. But the difference is, I guess you can't really lose the Pokemon card if you have an NFT, right? Because in real life, it can get wet, it can get stolen. But here in the blockchain, I guess it's safer in theory, right? That's interesting. Okay, so the question from Titus was, how difficult is it for one of the studios in here, for example, to implement the SDK that you guys have and setting up the NFTs?
Yeah. Actually, technical-wise, it's not that difficult, but the more important is like if you want to the interoperable items with the game to the game, is a game balance or some kind of how can we measure the kind of the value or something like that. So those is the most important thing. But the other one is you can create the NFT as just like is a technical level. It's not that difficult. That's why we are developing the SDK, which is just it's not cannot be the one click, but as I told you before, our tech team will help you out. So I hope that it's not gonna be that difficult to integrate it.
So I got another question from Andre actually that I just realized. So what about cross-chain interoperability? So for people that are unfamiliar with blockchain, my question is, can you transfer to other chains? Can you use the cards in other chains, or is it purely on your mainnet, I guess?
It is also depends on the background, the system. Like there's some kind of like the blockchain is providing the meta blockchain network. So it's also integrated on the type of the mainnet is connected in the integrated each others, so they can communicate with each other. So those kind of the transaction is within those kind of ecosystem and the mainnet system. But the other one is like they cannot be they only limited the mainnet. They can only the transaction between within the same ecosystem.
Okay. And what do you think will drive user growth for like non-crypto users? I mean, you guys talk a lot about how you want to bring in non-crypto users to play the games. So what's your I guess it's a twofolded question. Number one, like, what's your strategy to bring them in? And what do you think the general space needs to get regular people to join the blockchain industry?
Actually, the first part should be the technical issues, especially for the gas fee, as you mentioned before. It's too expensive to buy the $1 the payments. We have to spend the $5 for the gas fee. It's crazy, so no one want to pay for that. So those kind of things should be deleted first. And then the other part is like what we are trying to is like give them some kind of not only about the perspective of users, but also we have to always thinking about the content itself could be the key enabler to bring into further this mass adoption. So the more attractive way to earn the money and the business model with this kind of secondary market, the business model, and also adding some item, the value. So this kind of the feature can make the users more interesting, I think, because like most of the game feature nowadays is a very similar, especially for the MMORPG, and RPG has a very simple strategy and the process. So I think that many people is a little bit sick of this kind of process. So if we give them another experience and some behavior of the game, so those, I don't know what it's going to be, but some days they're kind of game. So I hope that we will not be the one of them. So that's why we are brought the whole the core, the code and the image source from the developer. So we're changing by ourselves in the house. So we are also working on it and thinking about how we can make them interested in and to effort to convert to the in blockchain environments. The user can.
Interestingly, you can compare it to gaming, to mobile gaming before there were iPhones and the stores as well. Because in the time, there was some time ago, some years ago, before we had all those iPhones and everything, there were feature phones and you could already play games on this thing, but you needed, if you bought the game, you needed to buy it with your telephone service provider. And then they charge you for the kilobytes that you downloaded, which is just like you pay 10 euros for the game, and then you have to pay additional 10 euro for the as fee for the distribution, because you had no flat fee or anything to get data on your phone, which was crazy. I guess it's just a matter of time that the same thing happens within the crypto gaming scene, I would say. If people get over the gas fee problems, if you don't have to charge additional fees just to play something, then more people would be willing to give it a try, just with lower tickets, like, I don't know, buy stuff for $1 just to be part of it and give the game a try.
Maybe you can provide us some insight on Ethereum 2.0. I believe that's going to be, if it's not out already, I think it's coming out very soon, right? So
not really.
Yeah. Do you think that Ethereum 2.0 will take care of the gas fees, or do you think that the side chains are the future?
I hope so, but as far as I know, it's going to take maybe at least 2 years to changing the mechanism from the POW to the POS. So we are also attending those kind of the full node program with the Ethereum. So we are the one of the full node. We are operating the full node for the Ethereum 2. But I don't think that it's not going to be solved with the Ethereum very soon. So instead, because before we starting the kind of things, we also have some kind of the gray areas. So some part of the game operation, we should be in the not in the blockchain basis, and also it's very important and the valuable item can be changed to like the blockchain basis, something like that. So if we are someone who want to over the $100, so they can change it. That's the NFT, which is like the blockchain item at the time. So that's why showed that I showed that a short script, which is like the promotion video of previously. So which one is like the showing that how we can convert to the NFT. So it's a more valuable one. It's like a 100, more than $100. So it's willing to pay that the $5 and $2 for the like the gas fee.
Okay, and for the chat, I think you saw that Andre just posted a poll. It would be awesome to know how many of you guys actually own crypto and how many of you don't. So if you see the poll in the chat, please do answer. And while we wait for the results to come in, Mark, if you don't have any items, if you don't have any NFTs, so let's say we are a standard premium game. I mean, you watch the pitches, maybe not all of them, maybe a few of them, but for example, Mad Shot, right? So it's like it's not a game that will have any sort of items. So how do people that don't have any NFTs, how can they work with you? Do they have to develop items, or like what's the best way to work with PlayDAP if you don't have any item ideas?
But I'm so sorry that I saw that some kind of pitch, but today was a Saturday, so I had to take care of my babies. But most of part, and it really depends on the game situation and the game business. So we have to look at closely. So, but I believe that there is a bunch of way to monetizing, and then we can make the NFT as well. Like for example, like even we are trying to the three match game in the blockchain item, which is like and then the pinball game is when we are playing the game, or there is special the pinball is like can be converted to like the NFT or something like that. So I think that anything is possible.
Okay, and we have a question from Danny here. He's asking, does PlayDAP only cover mobile games, or are you going to expand to PC games very soon?
Actually, the blockchain basis can be the multi platform. Can be especially we are thinking about the HTML5 games is also released in the India and the other the developing countries. So we are also even like the Crypto Dojo was a PC game as well, like that. So,
okay.
But more is the other ways, like because we are more focusing on the mobile game, because it's the whole 70% of the market is focusing on the mobile, and everyone is playing the mobile game at this time. So as a perspective of the market share and the user acquisition and mass adoptions, we always have to think about the mobile game at first.
So if I'm a studio and I have this great game idea that I think fits you guys, can I come to you for funding? Do you provide like funding support for making the games, or do I come to you with a game that's already finished?
Our company is not big enough to invest the money for now. So we can be the. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it, but yeah, we can be definitely we can be the investor as well, because like I forgot that to explain this one, but we also is an investor on another Korean game as well. So yeah. It was our COO was like that. Was taking charge of that. I was misunderstanding, because I'm one of the founding member of this earliest stages. So when I remember when I think about our company is always a small at 5 people. It's like getting around. But for now, it's more than 50 and got some kind of money. I think we can have like willing to invest the money for if we have a strategy, the investment and the strategy partner, if we really find a nice developers.
You said you grew from 5 to 50 people?
Yeah. It's for now we are almost 50 people in employee in here. So
wow.
So at the time I met you the last time, it was 10 and
yeah,
15.
exactly.
Yes.
So you've grown almost 40 people since I met you.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Thank you. Great.
Ah, that's awesome. Well, all right. So does anyone have any last question for Mark? Please ask it right now. We got 2 minutes left, so there's time for one more question. If no one has one, then Andre or me will bring in the last one.
Just the results of the poll here. It's divided 50-50 roughly of the answer. People who got some cryptocurrency here and 50% who don't have any. But I expected it worse. I mean, less people, but so maybe we preached to the choir here by explaining NFTs, and everyone is familiar with it already. But good to see.
Yeah, it's nice to see that, you know, adoption is getting more, and I'm sure everyone has read about Bitcoin and Ethereum everywhere this year, because of course the market is doing very well right now. I'm sure there's a lot of new millionaires out there.
By the way, one last question that I noted down: is there any special cryptocurrency that you see that is going to get more important within the gaming ecosystem? Like, I know there's stuff like, how is it called, sandbox coins or something like that. Some people are trying to make cryptocurrencies especially for the gaming market. Is there some cryptocurrency you want to point out?
It's hard to say because, like, as I told you, like we are talking with several different network and coin, but it's not the right time to list to in public right now because it's a little bit related to the investor and related to our investor as well. They're but personally, I recommend you to use the Ethereum. I think that Ethereum, that's the only way to operating this kind of the whole different type of the functions, and there are so many scam
coin.
Scam coin and the network. Even they look like the very fancy, but it's not operating at all. So we got so many like the difficulty to work with so many different type of like the mainnet for now. So we decide not to work with them anymore because like it was very many like the technical issue to work with them to operating the dApp on that they're the main network. So so the Ethereum is gonna be.
I actually have a last personal question, which you don't have to answer if you don't want to. So the Icon network, the ICX, what do you think about that token? You don't have to answer.
It's as I told you, it's one of the Korean coin as well. So
yeah, I'm asking because I own Icon. That's why I'm asking.
So I'd
No
better
comments?
skip these questions.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mark. We really appreciate it, and thank you as well for being a sponsor of the event. You know, we hope we'll have some GTR studios working with you guys soon.
Thank
you so much, Mark.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mark.
Go to sleep. It's almost midnight. I realized.
Yeah, it's midnight. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Mark.
Bye-bye.